Hello, folks. Welcome back. I'm Joe Wesley, and my guest today is.
Lisa Strahs-Lorenc.
Thank you for being part of my group today. For those who are visiting us for the first time, the concept is, are you prepared to take the hot seat challenge to discover an ingredient of your secret sauce? Well, why is that important? In business, anybody can copy what you do, they can mimic what you do, but they can't fake who you are. It's that secret sauce about yourself that gives you that unique distinction that will draw your intrinsic market. The theme here is, are you prepared to take the hot seat challenge? I will ask questions beginning with, what's your favorite pastime? Because that goes to your passion. And your passion defines who you are separate from anybody else. And in the last part of this 30-minute session, maybe the last 10 to 12 minutes, we start talking about Lisa's business and how who she is, not what she does, provide a unique value to her industry. And for those of you who are drawn to her, we do have in our YouTube environment, Facebook, and also LinkedIn, the left brain bullet point things of how to connect with her, and also the same for me. So let's get started. So Lisa, what's your favorite pastime?
I love traveling.
Now, I'm going to interrupt. I get that. I'm going to assume at 4 or 5 years of age that may or may not have been a love for you back then. If that's the case, because I really want to go
No,
beyond your.
I always loved traveling. No, my
Okay,
parents, we went everywhere. No, traveling was always part of our lives growing up
fantastic.
and every place in between. Yeah, love it.
That makes this a smoother transition. I forgot to mention also, folks, that every now and then I'm looking down and I keep a notepad like this. Right now it's blank, basically. And in asking questions, I have enough dots that I can connect. I see things, I connect dots very well. That will give me the basis, because this is unrehearsed, unscripted, to share with myself, with Lisa, my concept of an ingredient of her secret sauce, and then the value that she brings to her business for her client base. So, traveling, what was it you liked about traveling?
Seeing new things, seeing the world. I'll give you a really good example.
Okay,
Between my junior year and senior year in college, I went backpacking with a girlfriend and we went to
oh,
Europe for 6 weeks. It was
right,
really cool, interesting times, 70s times.
right.
And we went to a bunch of countries. And then we realized that we weren't getting along. And she just walked out the door in Switzerland. I was
Mm,
completely alone in Switzerland in 1975. And for the next 2 weeks, I just traveled to different countries, but I always saw other students, a lot of
right.
students traveling in the 70s. So I just sort of attached to other groups. And if my parents knew that I was alone, I think they would have sent everything Interpol out to find me. So not many people knew that I was alone, but traveling was amazing, seeing new things and traveling the world. Just
Well, when did you set an itinerary when you traveled, look at the map and the day before and say, I'm going to go here, here, and there? Or did you put your walking shoes on and start walking? What was your technique on that?
done both, done both.
Okay,
When we had an RV, and so when we saw the country, we would plan certain things, but then we decide, hey, I want to stay here longer, so let's not leave yet. But when it
okay.
came to Europe, we just sort of did what we wanted to do. All right, we
Mm-hmm,
feel like going to Rome today. All right, tomorrow we'll go to Florence. Next day,
mm-hmm.
and so it was just
And, and
spontaneous.
and it sounds like you would get to that general location, so you scratch your head and say, "So where do we start?" Was that kind of your program?
That wasn't, yes, that was definitely my program in Europe. I was
Okay,
definitely more scheduled when it came to some of our family trips and the times that we went RVing and stuff. So just so much fun.
I hear
Wonderful
that.
to see. And the United States has so many beautiful parks and
Right.
so many places to see. So
Well,
love
are you
traveling and visiting.
when you travel? Are you a camera buff or are you
Yes,
more?
yes.
Okay,
My husband, may he rest in peace, was a photographer on the side. And he was an amazing photographer. He had like an eye for photography long before
right.
there were cameras with um, phones with cameras, long
Okay,
before that. So he just liked a real camera.
I hear that.
And he,
Nice.
beautiful, beautiful
I hear
work.
that. And also, folks, I made a statement that maybe not be 100% true. I do say we don't rehearse these sessions, But when Lisa signed in initially, I have known her since COVID began through mutual
Yes.
programming. She said that this is your 40th anniversary of your husband, uh,
Actually, my father.
your father
Today I
passing. I'm
remember my
sorry.
father. My
Okay.
husband's been gone 15 years. My father's been gone 40 years today.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to say that. I thought it was anniversaries I take very seriously, and although it's not part of our program, I did want to say
Yeah.
thank you for being here on this day because you could have chosen a different day, also, obviously. Uh,
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. We
and again, I'm
remember
making a
people.
note. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
We
Go ahead.
remember people in our hearts forever, Joe. They
I
live
hear
there
that.
forever. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Be with you a
That's why
moment,
I do
folks.
bereavement work, by the way.
True. I agree with that. So
Yes.
now that you're a seasoned traveler, do you have, and you've been, I think, from my hearing, a lot of part of the world, do you have favorite spots that you
I,
travel to?
there's so many more places I want to go see. They're on my bucket list. I actually have a book called the Bucket List Book, and I have things that I check off as we do them.
Right.
And then I have other things that are still waiting to be done. Israel, by the way, is one of them. I'd really love to go to Israel. I'd like to feel safe, but I
Mm-hmm.
would love to go to Israel. I think it's one of the
I hear
most
that.
beautiful places. Yeah, yeah.
Still writing, folks. Hang in there with me.
Hmm, yeah. But in the meantime, I love the parks. I love all the
Right.
national things that are around. I love special sites. I mean, there's so many things to see, even in the United States, so many places to visit.
Okay, well, I have another question for you. Myself, I do camera photography, and it's not as compulsive as it used to be. And I mean a real camera, not take out my
Yes.
hip pocket
Oh,
thing or whatever it is. But
awesome.
what it does for me, Mike, and this is really not about me, but to get a better sense of where you are on this, that it gives me a license of behavior. So, for example, if you go to a meeting and everybody has out their smartphones to take images and the moderator says, okay, everybody please have a seat. If you have a camera hanging around your neck, you can stand up and nobody bothers you because they figure you're one of the photographers. I even had people
That's
preen
true.
themselves trying to get my
That's
line of shot on the camera. So that's one license of behavior. The other is the Bronx Museum, the zoo, the Bronx Zoo, very nice place to be. Bronx, New York, for those of you who may not know that name automatically. And they have a green space. And used to live in New Jersey, and I realized that the squirrels had a different color, a fur color, than the squirrels
they
in
do.
New York. I think our
They do.
squirrels are gray, your squirrels are brown. I think
Yeah.
it's a gang system. You wear your colors and you define who you are. But I was fascinated by the squirrels. So I laid out in this green zone. So I laid prone so I can get a squirrel's eye shot of the three or four squirrels, I guess digging for acorns because it was early in the season. Well, I had people who were doing crowd control for me. They were saying, no, photographer, stay out of his line of sight. Now, if you're lying stretched out on the ground, you better be one of two things, either dead or at a beachfront ordering a Mai Tai with your pinky. Anything else that calls security said there's a strange guy laying in the middle of the yard, come get him. But you have a camera, it's okay.
That's right.
So
That's right.
the question I have to you is when you're on these trips, are you an active camera taker? Or are you
Oh
more
yeah.
this?
Oh yeah. I'm always taking pictures. Always.
Okay,
I love
great.
capturing the moments.
Okay,
I mean, you can never capture everything that your eye
right.
sees, but you can try and memories. I mean, I'm in a room right now with 151 albums. And
Oh
when I
my,
moved in with my partner, I had 8,000 pictures in a big tub, which he
my,
scanned.
my.
So they're all scanned and put into different folders. That's how many
Interesting.
pictures. Yeah, we loved photography. We loved, and I still do, capturing every moment. Yeah, that's what you
Well,
remember.
I'm going to ask another question then. When I had my camera, when I was out using my camera, I would walk like I'm a SEAL Team 6 guy, that I've got my gun and the trigger, my hand on my trigger of my gun ready for the shot. Because if you say, oh, let me get my camera, let me take the cover off, the moment is gone. So are you one of
Yes.
those kinds of people that walk with the camera in hand just waiting for the next shot? Or is it,
In the olden days, with a real camera, and I had a wonderful Minolta that I took
okay,
over to Europe with me. In
right?
those days, yes, I just kept it ready. But
Mhm.
now that there's a phone And I have a really great camera on my phone. My kids bought me an amazing camera because they knew what I liked. So I can get a really, really close up shot of a beautiful rose or something, and it captures the beauty of it. It's
I hear
easy. It's a point and click now. It's easy.
it's so much easier, and it's a plus and it's a minus. I get a sense you look at composition that some people will take a shot. Make sure you stand back far enough so I can get your feet in the shot. I'm assuming you're more close up, perhaps. You want to see expressions. I
Yes.
don't want to read
Yes.
into you, but that's my assumption
Yes.
of how you go
That's
about
me.
it. Okay, fair
That's me.
enough. I get
Yes.
that. So it's now when you have your images shared, what I'm hearing about you is that some people will take shots and never look at them. They never take them off the camera. Yeah, I see it's absurd the moment I said made the observation. Uh,
I'm busy sharing all the time. I post more than anybody else posts. I love sharing, and everybody says that they get some kind of secret thing through me, like they're living the experience, or they're where I am
I
through
hear that,
through,
and
through
so
the pictures I share.
I'm laughing as you're laughing because I kind of thought it was going in that direction of concept, and the fact that you would even print your images also because the phones are so convenient to take shots. I guess if you could still download it, you can still go to the printer. That's more a processing, but you have like you said, 80,000 shots. Uh,
I had 8,000 pictures, but I have
8,000.
151 albums here in my office. And I also specialize in Shutterfly books. So I make
Ah,
a lot of Shutterfly books after I visited my grandchildren or after a special vacation or some kind of special celebration. I have 200 albums on Shutterfly. So I have a lot of pictures, all coordinated according to album. Yeah, a little
interesting.
crazy.
I think we are beginning to get a concept here of where this has been going. Uh, Organized. Again, making notes, folks, so bear with me. I'm going to
Organized.
do a
Yeah.
slight commercial break. The concept here, folks, is who is this person that wants your business, who wants to share value to you through her business? And anybody can say, I can do the best for you. But everybody, I believe, has a uniqueness about them that will draw people intrinsically. That being said, this StreamYard will be shared again on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Please, in following up with Lisa, her information will be posted there. Reach out to her with any questions. We also ask if you like or don't like, if you have questions or comments, we do audit this program. So please, we will get back to you as quickly as possible to answer any questions. Share your likes, not just with us, with your friends. Repost and also subscribe to my platform because these do come out on a regular basis. If you have interest for yourself, please contact me besides questions to Lisa in addition. That being said, Lisa, I get the impression in terms of doing photography, no, I'm going to ask the question. I don't want to make an assumption. Which do you enjoy the most? That in sharing it out, taking the image and living it, reliving it yourself, or sharing and watching people's actions? To say that more clearly, sometimes my audience, who I share my images with, they will like things I'm saying, ah, what a dud, but okay, I'll throw it in there. And then they say, hey, I like this. How'd you figure that out? So really, what do you like and why? So for me, it's as much fun to watch people's reaction, sometimes more so than the image itself I've taken. Do you have a flavor one way or the other on that? It doesn't matter. Everything is up in the air and counts.
I'm in the moment.
Okay.
Okay. I've always been in the moment. So the moment is capturing that beautiful image or capturing that beautiful scene. So in the moment, I've enjoyed it and I love it. And sharing it just makes me feel like I'm sharing it with others who can now enjoy it as well. So that's how I see it. I don't think it's one or the other.
I hear that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Now, what I tell people normally for the first 20 minutes plus or minus, I ask questions. Well, in the not quite 15 minutes, that blank sheet of paper I showed you before, it's now completely filled up with information. So I don't have any more papers. I have to move to the second part of our program now. So, what got you in the path to what you're doing now?
Oh, this is an easy story.
Okay.
And it's maybe one of many people. I
Hmm.
always wanted to be a preschool teacher. I used to line up my dolls when I was 4 years old. I knew I wanted to be a teacher.
Right.
And in high school, I told my guidance counselor I want to be a teacher. And I always did volunteer work, or I was a camp counselor. I mean, I knew I was destined to work with young children.
Right.
So when it came to finding out where I was going after high school, I did all the research because I'm very efficient. I did all the research, and Syracuse University was the school to go to. It was the
Right.
best in the country for preschool education.
Okay.
And so, even though it was a private school and it was money and everything else, I said that's where I'm going to go. It's
Right.
1972, okay?
Right.
And I'm off to Syracuse, which is too big and a party school and many other things. However, I got the best education in early childhood in the country. Only
Okay.
one problem: there were no
Yes.
jobs in this field.
Oh.
So I went back to my guidance counselor and asked her, how come you didn't tell me that there were no jobs in this field? And here's what my illustrious guidance counselor said, who, by the way, was a friend.
Right.
She said, that wasn't my job, Lisa.
Oh my.
And I said, what was your job? She said, look, you were a good student. I didn't have to worry about you. You didn't smoke. You didn't drink. You didn't get into trouble. She said, you went to college and you were a success. And that's it. And I said, but that wasn't a success because I'm unemployed and I cannot find a job in preschool education.
Right.
And she said, not my problem.
All right.
So here's the bottom line. Who gets career counseling? Anybody? What does your guidance counselor tell you? What's the role of a parent to help a
Right.
child with their career decisions? Okay. Had I known and had I been a little smarter, I would have done maybe a special ed, minor, or maybe I
Right.
did reading as, a minor, or maybe I would have done something else to help instead of just getting a preschool education degree. So it was, I think, the frustration of where I was, feeling like I was a failure, and saying I'm not going to let anyone else get into this situation. And so I did have one job as a preschool teacher, and
Right.
then the place went bankrupt. There already is an indication something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was figuring out my master's degree, I wanted counseling, and I could specialize, and I specialized in career work.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting trigger. I'm going to. So, how? What is your title? What is it that you say you do as a business?
So I am a career counselor. I am a career counselor, but that's different from a career coach.
Mm-hmm.
So as a career counselor, I help sort out people's personalities, their blocks, some of their sense of confidence, sense of self. And you have to do that first. And that's counseling. Coaching is more of the business sense. Yes, I help people with job search. Yes, I help people with, with interviewing skills, how to stand out and all. But the counseling part is, so what blocks you from finding out what your next stage might be, or
Right.
where's the confidence in trying to find a new career? It's counseling.
I hear
That's what
that.
it
Yeah.
is.
So let me share my thoughts on that, and I'm going to start at the very end and work backwards. I, most people I've met either have a right-handed or left-handed. We all have preferences. Some are dual-handed. There's a bidextrous. I think that's the word for it. There are other people their brain works in the same manner, and I get that sense about you that, or one part of you, you talk about the joy of photography, and back before that, the freedom of traveling. Now, some people might consider back in the 70s, say, you're beatnik, or whatever these guys and girls wear long hair and far out, man, and the flowers and the beads and everything else.
I wasn't that.
Who worries about the organization? I'm going to travel and find myself.
Yeah, no, I wasn't that.
Exactly. I was about to say that. Please don't help me on this.
Yeah.
So, there's got to be some suspense going here, folks. So my impression of you is for the sheer enjoyment of it, but it's not wandering. There's a purpose behind it, as I see, a discovery, the freedom of it, the pure joy of it. But there's also a technical side. You will take pictures. You want to record it. You want to share it. You want to look at it later on. And many people will take a picture. They'll say, "Okay, stand. I can't get your feet. Stand. Take the shot." Nothing wrong with that. But some people like yourself, you take it upon yourself to do composition that the aura of the picture, the image has an added value to the person. And also you want to be assuming close enough, if it's a person, to get their face, maybe the features in terms of what's going on. That shows some thought. So with all the exuberance being expressed for the moment, there's a left brain there really, really functional. And it's not just from that, the other things we talk about, that you love the idea when you majored in school, you always wanted to be a teacher. And to me, that my mother is a teacher. So the implication of working with people, providing instructional value, providing future value to them, for my definition of the concept of it. So you excelled in what you did. You made your left brain function. Well, I want to go to the best possible school resources so I can provide the best value to my audience. And you did that. Unfair for you to determine what the proper question is to ask. And that's how you got out in an environment and realized there are no job openings for what I've done here. So rather than you complain, but you take action on the complaint. Well, I'm not going to let this happen again. It's like the TV commercial, the guy's going bald and he found implants so nobody has to worry about going bald. You're going to make sure that you learn the skills, develop the platforms that will allow you to do what you're doing. And what I'm looking at my notes now, and that's why I'm looking down. So you talked about in your travels, and I found this really interesting. You say you have yet to go to Israel, but you want to go there. You would admit openly it's not yet safe, but I'm going to go anyway. Because you're not being deterred by the risk of what you're getting involved in. You believe enough of what you do, the value, that the risk is simply the cost of doing business in a metaphorical sense. And I suspect everything you do falls in that category. And look, refer to my notes again. And the images themselves, that when I take shots, it's for the immediate in the moment, which is what you said. But I like sharing because I want to see people's reaction. And that is looking for extrinsic input to provide additional value. You already self-value focused. And for you, that you don't need somebody to say you did a good job. You're clear that you do good work. You have no question about that. You document for purpose. And many people shoot pictures in the old days that ended up in shoe boxes underneath the bed. Now in phones, pictures will things you store up in the cloud because you have too many to store in your phone anymore. No, you're going to print those suckers out. You're going to catalog them. You're going to categorize them. You're going to find another platform, Spotify, that will allow you to effectively, efficiently get all these things. Pardon?
Shutterfly.
Shutterfly. I'm sorry for that. You see, I'm a
All right.
novice in that direction. Thank you for the correction. She listens also, folks. A good thing. So what we have here is a person that has a profession that is really based on providing value to the audience, to the market. It's not just to have a job. Nothing in her history says she's doing something just to get it done. She has a passion about what she does. She takes it seriously. She's a fighter. She's not being put off by risk factors. In fact, if anything, it makes her more determined to do a good job. So the concept I'm making here, for those people, who's your ideal client, would you say? Let me ask it in this manner.
You know, everybody thinks it's students, but it's probably not. My
Okay,
probable age is 30s and 40s because people now fall into something or were told to do something and it's not right for them. And they
right.
realize at that stage that they better do something and make the change.
Hmm.
So often, listen, I've had a client that's 71 years old.
Interesting.
It's never too late to change your trajectory
Okay.
and to find
Well,
your passion.
I'm going to nuance that a little bit differently. Not so much never too late to take opportunity as a value for you again. I think people will say it's too late because I'm too old, it's too long, it's too past, too much into my past. I'm going to say this about Lisa, and I've known her. We both said toward the beginning of COVID. Don't let that cute face fool you and that soft voice. And this might sound misogynist. She's a fighter. When she uh, begins to represent you, just get out the room and let her have her space because that's my impression of you. Because everything I've heard reflects that concept. Am I far off what I've just said?
No, you're absolutely right, Joe. And by
Okay.
the way, it started, and the reason why I'm a bereavement specialist, it started when I
Yeah.
was 2. I lost my mother when I was 2.
Oh
I got a
my.
new mom when I was 4, but losing your mom at that age, there's many things that I'm sure that I am because of that. And I lost my father when I was 30. I lost my new mom when I was 46, and I lost my husband when I was 55.
Okay.
So I think that there's a sense of purpose in life. There's a sense of real direction and sense of that every day is precious, and you have to make the most of every day.
I, I hear that. Two things. One, she doubles down on adversity. And so you want, as I said a few moments ago, she represents your needs, your unmet aspirations, or even inconceived aspirations. Just get out of the room, because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, and she makes things happen for you. And I say that tongue in cheek, but I really believe the concept of it. That here's a woman, man, woman, it doesn't matter the gender. Any number of people on any of these circumstances you've just mentioned in your personal life would have been enough to have a setback, to go into drugs, to become depressed, whatever it may be, self-abusive. And everything I've heard about you, your roommate left you on your trip eons ago to Europe. And rather than say, well, I guess I'll go home early, well, screw that. I'm going to make this happen even more so. She's a fighter. And not simply a fighter, an accomplished fighter, a skilled fighter. She's martial arts. You have different degrees of black belt. I think if Lisa were in the martial arts, they'd develop a whole new color to define where she's gone in her industry. My hat off to you in terms of how you approach life and you approach yourself, which reflects who you are in your industry. So anybody who's looking, who's maybe talked themselves out of it's not long enough to change what I want, or are convinced that the sliding hill I'm going down is the best I've got to hang on to at best, I would say please connect. At least give Lisa consideration to connect with her, because in my eyes, she's a person that does what she does because she believes in it. She's a fighter for it, if for herself, certainly for you too. And she's skilled. It's not enough to go to any place to do anything. It has to be the best for herself, thus for you too. Very organized, despite the cute grin she's got going there. It fooled me for a long time. I have to admit that. That's why I keep coming back and poking to that. Anything you'd like to take us home with in dialogue, Lisa?
No, Joe, first of all, you're very observant, and that was always the thing about you that was really amazing. And our conversations have always been wonderful.
Thank you.
And I mean, we both evolved, both of our
Mhm.
businesses and where we are and where we've been. For me, number one, I feel like this time in my life is the time to really help others, period.
Mhm.
And so I want people to do what they love and love what they do. I don't want people to be unhappy and dread going out to work. I also want people to feel like they have a life, even if they've lost their loved ones.
Mhm.
I specialize in memories. I specialize in trying to keep that person alive in your heart, and they are always there. And so the memories really help them move forward. And as an author, I want to share my expertise and all my ideas. I've written 3 books, 2 in memory of my husband who died of pancreatic cancer, and
Mhm.
1 career journeys.
Mhm.
So from the ground up. So you know what? I'm determined to do what I can and
Mhm.
change the world, whatever I can do. And I love living and I love life. And
I
that's
hear.
what it's all about,
I
living
hear
every
that.
day to the fullest.
Nicely said. Now I'm going to point counterpoint. Any number of business owners I've met can say pretty much the same thing. I'm experienced at what I do, and I really care about my clients. Here's a woman who walks her talk, and I have no doubt by her history, her secret, her ingredient, her secret sauce. And I say ingredient because this has only been 30 minutes, so I can't give a whole life history. Anybody that might have interest can get an ingredient also. And but some people ask me, what do you charge for this? An hour of your time. So,
That's the best question. I love that question.
right.
You ready? So I charge according to what somebody can afford to pay. There you go.
Well,
There's the great businesswoman that I am.
I look at differently. What value, potential value, is there for you? If you're not worth an hour of your time to invest in yourself, then please don't call me, and please don't contact
That's right.
Lisa, because she's really here to help people who are seriously interested in improving their life history, reversing the sliding slope they be on already. Folks, thank you for being part of our group. Remember again to visit us, to subscribe to my YouTube account. I know Lisa has a lot of things going on also, that she has groups she belongs to. Please connect with her also. Keep in touch, leave your comments, share us with other people. Thank you again for your time and your interest.
So thank you so much. It was such a pleasure.
Okay, thank you.